Well, what do you think? Should we work on some embellishments now for our quilt? Hey Kimberbell friends, Kristen Somm here, and we are on the last step of our Candy Corn Quilt Shoppe quilt. Wow, I'm very excited. All right, so we are gonna do the embellishments today, and there are several, and I'm gonna go through each one step by step. And did you see the buttons? Oh my gosh. I didn't know what these are, the little green things. They are the witch's hands. They're so cute. All of these are just so cute. This is going to be so fun. So our first embellishment is the leather sign that goes on the quilt shop. So one thing also I want to point out, several people already did their embellishments. They got really excited to do the embellishments, so they did them early and before doing the backing. And that's fine, your quilt, do it your way. Just I want to point out to be really careful when you're stitching in the ditch to not hit any of those buttons or the leather. The banner goes pretty close to the sides. Just be super careful, that's all. I am loving seeing all of these come together. It's so fun. So on the first one is that the sign. So the sign for the quilt shop. And we are going to use our leather, the white leather that's in your embellishment kit. And the size is supposed to be 7.5 by 4.5. You need at least 7.5 by 4.5. The one that comes in the embellishment kit is generous. It's 8 by 5, so you're all set. And we are going to put that in our hoop and use the black and the lighter orange for the sign words. So it says to use wash away stabilizer on the top, so I'm going to use mine for the first time. This is from Oh My Darlings, and it says to cut the stabilizer in the hoop, wash away. It said something about, oh yeah, 20 seconds. Soak the sign for 20 seconds after. I think we probably will be able to just rip it all away. That's my plan anyway. We'll see how that works out. But if not, it says to soak it for 20 seconds in cool water to dissolve. Lay flat to dry. You probably could even just squirt it and it'll go away. Susan Weege had a good suggestion. I think it was Susan. Yeah, she used a Q-tip with a wet Q-tip to get the extra. That was for the iron away topper, but it's probably the same. But I haven't used this before, so this is my first time, and so I'll give some tips and tricks if I find any along the way. So let's go ahead and get started with our dimensional banner. That's our first embellishment. Here we go. Okay everyone, now that we've finished our banner, Now we're going to work on the second embellishment. Did you know there's 6? There's a total of 6 sets of embellishments, and we finished the first one, so we're going to start on number 2. So it is called the pennant banner, and we're going to use the gold vinyl that's in our embellishment kit. We need it to be 7.5 by 2.5, at least 7.5 by 2.5. The sheet that comes in the embellishment kit is a little bit larger, so that's nice that they gave us a little extra. I think mine was a little bit more than 8 by 3, so that's nice. So if you look in your booklet, there is a template. It's just this tiny little template here, and you want to use that to have it as your guide for when you're cutting out the banner pieces. So what I started with was cardstock. I thought cardstock would be really great to have it be a little bit thicker, but I couldn't see the template through it. So that didn't work. So I just used a regular piece of paper. I cut out my template, and you just put it over the booklet and maybe shine a light on it and draw that little template onto your paper. And then once you have it on your paper, it will look like this tiny little template piece. And then we're going to use that to cut out of the gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an outline on all of them. We need 5 of the pennant banner pieces, and then I'll cut. So rather than trying to hold it in place, I'm just going to hold it and draw around it and then cut. And then the other thing that we need is our twine. So the twine comes in the embellishment kit as well, and we will use that to make the banner holder, the little string holder, and then also for the little bows on the ends. And so that's our second embellishment. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I cut out all of my little banner pieces. Actually, I didn't cut them out, I drew them. But I wanted to show you a little tip. So on the back of my gold, I went ahead and drew each of the little banner pieces. And look at, I drew them on one side, so I get all this extra gold leather for another project. So, but I found it easier to draw on this side instead of on the gold side. And now I'll just be able to cut those out, and nice and easy. And let's go ahead and do it. Okay, we have number 2 done of our embellishments. So we are going to move on to the third set. The third set are those super cute mini quilts that the witches are going to hold. So in your embellishment kit, there is a little fabric panel, a small little fabric panel that has the little quilts, 2 quilts and 1 bench pillow. You're going to cut those. You can see I've already cut mine, and they are going to be right on the edge of the quilt. So right on the very edge, you're going to cut that. And I did first back mine. I backed the entire fabric strip with fusible stabilizer because we're going to quilt them. So ward off puckers, right? So after you add your fusible stabilizer, I used the Kimberbell, the light green one, that's the fusible backing. I used that. And then after that, you trim it to exactly right on the edge of each of the quilts and bench pillow. And then you're going to get your backing fabric for each of them. So it's the cute little gray wavy lines. 2 of them are 3.5 by 3.5, and then 1 is 3.5 by 2 for that bench pillow. I didn't back these with fusible stabilizer. You could, but I don't really think it's needed. We'll see at this point. So we are going to quilt them. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to quilt them. I'm going to look at a few different options, and I'll go over that in photos. But for now, gather your supplies, and we are going to do the dimensional mini quilts. All right, let's get started. Hey Kimberbell friends, so I decided what I'm going to do on my mini quilts. So keep in mind that you can use your sewing machine and do straight lines, diagonal lines, something very simple. The blocks are very little. You can make it really simple. Or if you want, you can challenge yourself a little bit and do something a little different. So what I've decided I'm going to do is Halloween 2 on this little block, and I've shrunk it down. I'm using the 4x4 version, but I shrunk it down to 3x3, and you can do that using the buttons on your machine. When you load it up, you just shrink it down. I've shown how to do that in several videos, or you can use embroidery software. That's what I did. It's just easier and quicker in my opinion. So Halloween 2 in 4x4 shrunk down to 3x3. And then for this one, I'm using Halloween 4, which is that cute candy corn one. So the candy corn in 4x4 also shrunk down to 3x3. And then for the adorable Boulevard pillow, I have chosen Halloween 1 borders in 2x7, and then I'm just going to let the edge run off. So I decided that the ending of the design is cuter for this, and so I'm going to put this on the back end of the 2x7, and then like I said, just let it run off of the side. And just make sure that you have your batting the right size, and it'll be fine to let it just run off. So on the batting for this, I'm cutting mine to 2x3 because that's the final cut size that we're going to want on the length. The 2-inch will still be trimmed because we want it to be 1.5. The cut size of this fabric, if you recall, was 2x3.5. So I'm cutting my batting to 2x3. That'll give me my seam allowance, and then after it does the batting placement line, I'll trim off the top end, so it'll end up being about 1.5x3. So lots of information, but again, you can do it really simple or you can do it a little bit more advanced. It's totally up to you. On the batting for these 2 pieces, you're going to want to cut your batting to, 3x3, because our overall cut size, or our overall start size of this is 3.5 by 3.5. So 3x3 will give us our 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. All right, and then I already gave you the cut sizes for the backing, and again, your choice. You can do this a little bit more intricate or do it really simple. It's not going to matter one way or the other. It's your quilt. Make it fun. Do it your way, and that's it. Let's get started. Okay, so we have 3 sets of the embellishments done. So we have 3 more to go. So that means that now we're going to start on the dimensional skirts. I'm a little concerned about these, I'll tell you. So let me tell you what we need. We need the purple dot organza that's in the embellishment kit and the silver dot organza that's in the embellishment kit. And then we need the strip of ribbon, this cute little tape measure ribbon. It comes in one long piece, folded in half and cut it in half, 12 inches for each one for each skirt. So I've been reading through the directions and looks a little Japanese to me, to tell you the truth, some other language, but I know some Japanese, so that's not going to help me much. But I'm going to read them again and figure it out. Sewing is not my strong suit, and this has some very interesting directions. So let's go ahead and figure this out and get our organza skirts on our wire dress form. Let's do it. Okay, so we did the dimensional skirts and they came out great once I figured it out. They're not hard, so don't worry. I had my brain wrapped around it trying to figure it out, and sewing is just not my thing, but once I got it, it actually was really easy. The second one was much easier than the first one. So those are done. See here and here. So they're done. So that means that we have 4 sets of embellishments done. So on to number 5. Number 5 is the fabric bolts, and those look really easy. And then we just have the pins and our quilt is done. So for the fabric bolts, we need 8 fabrics that are each 4 by 3.5. And you can see the picture here of them. It's the orange banners, the purple with bats, the orange spider webs, the green cauldron, there's 2 of those, and then the black with orange dots, another orange spiders, and then the purple and purple stripes. So each of these, there's 8 fabrics total, 4 by 3.5. And then in your embellishment kit, there are these little fabric bolts, little plastic bolts. And if you notice on the bolts, there are 2 holes on them so that you can sew, can you see that? So that you can sew the fabric onto the bolt if you choose. I've seen some people just using a hot glue gun. It's kind of funny because I don't think I've hot glued anything on any of my quilts before until those skirts, and then I was very happy to use my glue gun on the skirts. So I'm fine with putting hot glue on these as well. They're just little plastic pieces to hold down our fabric. So you have an option of, in the directions, it just says to basically fold it around it. You fold it in half and then fold it around the bolt, and you can do that, or you can do that little sideways diagonal corner, and I'm gonna do that. I saw that on Kimberbell Tuesday Tips with Laurie, but I can't find it for the life of me. I looked everywhere, all through YouTube. My dogs are in the room now. Anyway, I looked all over for it to try and link it for you, and I looked all over YouTube, all over their Facebook page, and I can't find it. So anyway, you have the option of doing a straight bolt of fabric, or you can fold down the corner like you often see in fabric shops, and I'm gonna try that one. But either one is totally fine, and you can hot glue these suckers, or you can sew through those 2 little holes that are on there to hold on your fabric. Either way will work fine. So we need 8 of them, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the bolts of fabric were really easy. So the last step is the pins. So we have 11 more pins to add on to our quilt. I'm going to hand sew each one on, and then we're done. So let's finish up. And our quilt is officially done, but I'm going to add a quilt label. So a quilt label just has generally your name and date on it, so that generations down the road can remember who made this quilt and it's special and all that. So you can use any design. You can use one that is from the quilt itself, like you could use the gravestone, you could use one of the little pumpkins, the hoop. I saw somebody in the Kimberbell group, or maybe it was a different group, they used the hoop, like that Boo Haunt hoop, whatever it is, and put their name in that. You could do that. There's lots of options. I've decided I am going to use a pumpkin design from this old Kimberbell, oh, the possibilities for Halloween. There's a cute little double pumpkin, and I'm going to do that. And actually, there is in the vault, there's some cute designs. There's some sort of Halloween CD. I don't remember what it was called, but there is a Halloween CD, and it has a pumpkin and candy corn and different things. I decided not to do the candy corn only because it was too small, but you could do that. You could do whatever, but I'm going to do the double pumpkins. You can use a Kimberbell design, other design, whatever for your label. I am going to stitch it on felt, and that will be easy to sew on, hand stitch onto the back of my quilt without going through all the different layers. So anyway, that's the last step in this whole process. This has been quite a journey, and I want to just say I'm really, really, really proud of everyone that stuck with it and all the newbies. There were a lot of new people doing this quilt for the first time, and I feel so honored that you guys shared this journey with me. It's been a lot of fun. So I'm tired. I'm going to go get some sleep, but I'm going to finish my label in the morning and then the last tutorial. So here we go.